Okay, good. Well, good to see everybody. We had good practice today. Just want to hit a couple things real quick. Josh Paris, I think you guys may have, I think we sent that out already. He's got a little clicking in his knee, so we got it checked out. Got a little cartilage thing. Hopefully it's something that they can just go in and clean up and get him back quickly, very similar to Adley. But you never know. You know, if they have to suture it up, then it could be a little bit longer. So tough time for him, and keeping him in our thoughts and our prayers. The other one is Josh Mims, young man from here in town that's been a walk-on for us. He came in and decided he's going to hang up his cleats. He's got 22 credit hours to graduate, and he's going to try to knock them out this semester, and it's in his best interest financially. So tough deal for him, and same thing, keeping him in our thoughts. And he's got his grandmother who's in hospital right now, so tough time for him. So just keeping our thoughts and prayers behind Josh Mims as well. And then with that, any questions you guys may have?
I know you moved Jamal Custis around from receiver.
Yeah.
Do you see him as the kind of short-term solution to Josh being sideline?
Maybe. We'll see. We have to progress daily and see how we're doing. Kendall Moore was back out at practice today, which was good to see. We'll just kind of have to see how he progresses. He's been playing well, though, inside, and he's a great target for the quarterbacks because he's such a tall, long target. He gets on those linebackers, you can throw away from him, and he runs well too, especially when you move him inside. I think we had him in the mid 4.5s at probably 6'5.5", 6'6", 233 or something like that. So it's just a matter of how quickly we can bring him along and how much he can digest. But I think we have some good answers in there, and I'm looking forward to see how Provo comes along and progresses, and so we'll figure it out. But I've been pleased with all those tight ends' progress. We're working hard for Coach Acosta.
Anybody else? Questions for Coach?
Not a ton of catches last year for Josh. So how big of a loss is he for the offense?
Well, I think I think it's a big loss. He's had a great camp. He really has. He's played really well. So hopefully we can get him back quickly.
There's a lot of guys who are kind of nagging injuries. Nick Robinson, Brizzler, you've seen back.
Yeah.
Sean Avant. Are there any guys besides the ones who are having surgeries, or do you think their question is in jeopardy for the Villanova game?
If I did, I probably wouldn't tell you right now. I think it's that time of camp. You're fighting to finish up your your two-a-day type situations, and it's just a matter of trying to be smart but not baby them either. There's that fine line there, and you also have to figure out with some of the young kids what their threshold for pain is. So we're dealing with that a little bit, trying to grow them up a little bit. But the legitimate injuries are all injuries that we're hopeful that we'll get all these guys back and ready to roll.
Is Amari something with his knee going on?
Yeah, he should be. We're going to be smart with him for a couple days, but I think we'll get him back pretty quickly.
And Coach, at this point in camp, you mentioned the two-a-days and everything. Is this the point where the guys, even the coaches, you kind of see that light at the end of the tunnel with Villanova? You're just kind of itching to.
Yeah, it is, and we've already started. We started to ramp up our practice schemes in such a way that we're getting a lot of scout and demo work 2 days in a row now. Tomorrow we're going to have a mock game type deal where we won't have a ton of repetitions, but there'll be good, sharp, fast reps and go back and forth with all the situations that will come out throughout the course of a game or the season. So we're going to hit them hard on that tomorrow, and then kind of break the official part of camp, and then get into some practices that are, rather than 110 or 115 minute practice, a 90-minute practice. We're on the field, off the field. That's the luxury of starting Villanova a little bit early and trying to get the guys freshened up. So that'll be the game plan moving forward.
Last question from Eric.
You mentioned a little bit yesterday about the backup quarterback battle. What are you necessarily looking for mainly when it comes to that battle? Is it throws? Is it decisions? Maybe a little bit of everything there?
A little bit of everything. Like today, Mitch Kimball did some nice things. 3 days ago, kind of felt like Austin had a real good day. AJ has had some real good days. The toughest thing is, we like to use the quarterback in different ways, and anytime you have a guy that can run the ball, it's a good thing. The toughest thing about that is you don't want to hit those guys a bunch in preseason or at all in preseason. I think I told the story once before. I was at Northern Illinois. We had to play our our thumb. We had to play our fifth string quarterback, Craig Harmon, for I believe 8 games, and we beat the hell out of a couple quarterbacks, which wasn't smart. We had guys like Coach Bulla on defense back then, and they were taking shots because we said they could hit the quarterback, and it probably wasn't too smart. So there's a little bit of a learning curve there. You have to go to what they can do, and some of the things that they did in high school, running the ball. And really, that's one of the things that kind of hurt Terrell last year, because he's so good at moving the ball with his feet, and we didn't hit him, and we really didn't know that he was a high level runner until we got him in the football game. And so we'll kind of look at that and keep working it. The luxury we have is that they are backups right now, so that competition can continue. And I've seen it over the years where you may go into game 1 as having a guy that you think is going to be the backup, and then all of a sudden game 5 you're like, you know what, we're moving him to the backup because of the things he showed against the demo unit. So it's always a work in progress. And the good thing about those 3 kids is they've worked hard. They take coaching really well. They're fairly easy to coach. They're hard on themselves. I think they have a high level competition in their blood. So I think we feel good about all 3 of them, and we're just going to kind of see how this thing rolls as we get into Villanova, and then we have a bye week. And in that bye week, it'll be a work week where we can, liven some things up and see how some of those guys do against, some competitive situations. Maybe have a young guy scrimmage and that sort of thing. That's the luxury of having a bye week early in the season, is that competition continues on, and they don't get in that mode where they're just a scout team player.
Last question, Nate.
I think we're like 10 days out from the opener.
Yep.
What are maybe 1 or 2 things you learned about your team in camp that maybe wasn't as apparent coming out of spring?
Yeah, I like this team. I think they're an unselfish team. I think they work hard to take care of one another. I was actually really impressed with the maturity in the captain's vote. And I may have mentioned this, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself. For our kids to vote a long snapper as one of the 4 captains says a lot about the way they look at each other. Sam Rogers, young man, he just snaps the ball. And I say just, but that's a very important play every game we're in. But his maturity and his level of, unselfishness, to be quite honest with you, he serves the community probably more than anyone on the team. Not just here in town, not just doing things that are very common in the area that we don't talk about a bunch, but they put a lot of hours in. But he's also done missions to Haiti. He's the one that started the program where we did the lift-a-thon. It started with Rob Long's cause, and then he segued it into something bigger and better. And I think they raised maybe $5,000-6,000 for that, and he really headed the whole thing up and stayed on everybody and got corporate sponsorship to throw money at it. So I think for me, that's the one thing that I started to learn about this team was I think it's a mature team that has a great sense of brotherhood for one another.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it.
Back tomorrow.
You got it.
Appreciate it.